Hey everyone, uh, thought I'd do a video on CastBot Safari. Basically, a bit of a tutorial on how do you use it, what does it do. Um, I've made this cute little CastBot Safari AI image just now. It took me like 5 seconds, but yeah, I thought that was fun. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like walk through a bit of a guided tutorial on a hypothetical org that I've just made up. And let's call it Pokevivor. Um, so basically, to get started, and if you want to just make your own test server and install CastBot, go ahead and do it. There's no issue with that. You can play around with it. You can stuff around. You can try. You're not going to break anything. So I encourage you to just basically play around and have fun. But yeah, the first thing is to install CastBot, which I'm pretty sure most people watching this video will have. I'm using the dev version, so just ignore this little yellow guy. You should have this blue looking dude as your main CastBot server. And pretty much to get to everything in CastBot, I've tried to get rid of slash commands because they're annoying, they're hard to remember. So you go slash menu, and you'll get this little menu button. Just make sure he's still recording, um, and this menu will come up. And so when you have players in your org or even specs, everyone can access a menu, but anyone from production will see all these other things. So we just go straight into Safari. Um, Now I will say Safari is not just I've kind of given everything the banner of Safari, but it's not just for your traditional Safari. You can use it in a much smaller scale. So you can, if you just want a basic shop and currency system, um, it's extremely simple to set up. You don't need to like sort of bend heaven and earth to get it running. So I'll show you how to do that first, because I've had a couple of orgs or servers just, they've just had hosts tracking things in spreadsheets and trying to be like, oh, how much money did I send this player? How much, it's you don't need to do that. You can just install CastBot. It's got its own currency system. It's got its own item system. It's got its own store system. It's not using clunky slash commands. It's a lot more intuitive than some of the other bots out there. So we're going to do that as a bit of a practice run. Um, and yeah, obviously, I'm sure everyone can see my little to-do list here. This is just mental spoilers for what I've got ahead of me. And there's also spoilers in my back. Like, if you can see, I've got some plushies. Um, so yeah, we'll don't peek ahead. But yeah, so the first thing we want to do is let's create a Pokeball. Um, so we've gone into the Safari menu. And we're just going to items. Now, just before I go there, CastBot supports custom Discord emojis in basically everything. So I've prepared some little, like basically I've uploaded emojis to this Pokevivor server that like I literally just made. And we're gonna make a Pokeball first. And this isn't super intuitive that this is a Discord issue, but I'll show you all in things like Carlbot and also even obviously CastBot. Like every emoji has like a special code that you can access, and you access that by pressing this backslash you see here, and then colon, not semicolon, and then whatever the emoji name is, right? So I want Pokeball, right? So I just type Pokeball, right? And then you just do one more colon, and then enter. You can just use a normal emoji, but I find this is kind of nice. You can like, most orgs are themed around something, so yeah. So you just copy that. Here's some I prepared earlier. I'll just go back to my channel where I was setting things up. So this is the item picker. There's no items because I just made this server and I just installed CastBot now. But we're going to go create new. And just by the way, I've just added a bunch of new features like literally like 30 minutes ago before I'm recording this video. So there is a chance that there'll be bugs. If they come up, I'll fix them. It's all good. And I'm also drinking red wine, and it's also like 2 a.m. local time, and I have to work in 5 hours, but whatever. So I'm going to make a Pokeball. Name, Pokeball. Emoji, this is where we could just put in a normal emoji. You can leave it blank, but it's nice for the item to have an emoji. But this is where I'll post in that weird Pokeball thing. And then description, this is seen in stores and stuff, so just, like flimsy but works. I don't know. Stamina boost I won't worry about now, and base price we do want to set a price for it, so let's give it like, let's go like 30 Pokemon dollars, whatever they call them in Pokemon Land. So go create. That's created it. We see the nice little icon here, and then this screen lets us like customize the item, and so this will change. Like if I wanted to change the name of it to Super Cool Pokeball, if any players had it in their inventory, it will change that for them as well. It'll change it in all stores. So yeah, you just click on this item info. You can change the emoji as well. So just go things if it works okay. There's all these other advanced features, which I won't get into now. The topic for another video. If anyone's interested, let me know. Like battling and stamina and stuff. But yeah, it's I've made this to try and be simple, but this CastBot Safari feature is really, it's like it can be as complicated as you want it to be, which is a very good thing if you're creative. And if you're not super creative, then that's okay as well. You can do very simple things with it. Yeah, so I'll go in. I've created the Pokeball, and we're going to create a few more items just because I want to show off a few other CastBot features later on. So I am just going to go into my little list of things. Let's go items. Save that there. Oh, okay, that's not what I wanted. I'm going to have to do them one by one. That's quite annoying. What was next? Emoji. So next we want a potion. Super potion. And again, you don't need to do this. This is just, I like my polish. So create new super potion. Paste in the emoji. It's extra tasty. I think they spray it in the game or in the anime. Let's say that's like 60. Obviously you can change the cost later on. Cool little icon. That's cute, isn't it? And then I will still just go ahead and create. So I guess one thing to get your head around with CastBot is, so it's got the concept of items, right? So, but don't think of it as just like an item in a game. It's just a thing that a player can hold. So you can use this. CastBot has its own inventory. You can name your inventory. You can call it a backpack. You can customize it. You can call it, like whatever you want. I've run challenges where you just go into Safari settings, where I've named it like I've got a challenge that I call it's like an economy challenge called Tycoons, and I've just named the inventory like, what's my farm? I think it's like my farmlands or whatever. And instead of items, it's like buildings and stuff. So you can basically use it to represent whatever you want. It's just a thing that players own. You can use it to track your advantages if you want. It's completely private. so other players can't check other players' inventories. So you can have your, instead of just manually going, oh, which player has idle, you can like just create an idle and just send it and just assign it to the player. But anyway, so now we're going to model Pokemon, right? So I think we're doing Bulbasaur first. Paste in this emoji. If I had a Pokedex reading, it's a cute grass thing, I'd put that in there. We're not going to sell Bulbasaur, but I'll give it a price just in case. Cool, cute icon. That's very nice. What's next? Squirtle. And so you can see this is very straightforward. I started. The reason why I started doing all this stuff was I was like hand coding everything in CastBot, and you're not meant to. CastBot is not designed for this sort of stuff. So I literally just was like, I'm gonna make my own Discord bot and started off with a cast list. But then I realized very quickly, oh, we can do a bit more. Find water Pokemon. Thank you, and thank you if you're watching, if you've been a CastBot fan for a while. Let's make Squirtle 33. And then we'll do two more, we'll do Charmander. Go back to Safari. Items. And let's create. So obviously, like, again, it feels a little counterintuitive, but I'm never going to put these Pokemon in a store. Well, you could do actually, because they're sold in the game in stores, but like, yeah, they're not really items, obviously, but they work the same. What did I write? Squirtle, Charmander. His flame is small. Sad face. Let's make it 99. And then we'll do a Pikachu. Pokeball. I think I'll do a Great Ball as well. Sorry, this is taking a while. But yeah, so items are really like the core of CastBot Safari, and you can use them. You can just create them and use them manually if you want, and just like as a production team, you can just run a challenge and send them items that can represent whatever you want. But you also have the facility to sell them in stores. You can create complex idle hunts where you're hiding things, which I'll show you a bit of later. And yeah, it's kind of up to you how you want to use it. I'm pretty sure that people will figure out ways that I did not think about. So yeah, this action editor, and I'll show you the map feature shortly. That is really like, that's the real like, whoa, that's the main thing. I'm sort of like building up to it. Better than Pokeball, and then I think Pokeball's 30, so let's call it 50. Cool. Alright, let's move on. We're bored of items. So let's say create items. There's other things in here like if you want to create like an economy challenge, you can, instead of being like a great ball or whatever, you can be like, oh, it's like I've run my own farming challenges where you can define this is how much income you make from an item, and you can run rounds and all that sort of stuff. You can assign attack values to items and defense values and stuff like that. But that's all like way ahead. I think just if all this stuff looks interesting, just try it out and maybe try the basics for your first season, and then if you're liking it, try it for future seasons. Cool. So we've created items. Now and this is, I'm going to show you like the most basic usage, right? So let's say you you're planning your next season and you you want a currency system, tick. I'll show you how that works in a second. And then you want people to be able to buy stuff from the store. If I just, there's lots of ways you can do this in CastBot, but let's just create a what's it called? Sell it on City, right? So like sell it on Superstore, right? So just create a channel called that. It's probably the least exciting way of selling stuff, but it's achievable. So what you do is you just like edit the perms on the channel and just make it so that probably players can't talk, and you would just have it as like a in your tree mail or whatever. You'd be like, oh, you can there's this store here, you can buy things from the store, right? So at the moment it's just a channel. So what you do to first of all we got to stock the store with items, right? And I just hopefully fixed the problem with stores. Good. So similar to items, you go in, create a new store. What do we call this? Sell it on Superstore. Again, you can have emojis, custom emojis. I'm just gonna do that. Kanto's best and best wares. Leave store owner greeting. So let's create a store. Pause for drink break. So there's nothing in the store at the moment. This little drop down here lets you add things. We don't want to sell our very rare Pokemon, so let's just I think for now let's sell it on City's a bit fancy. So let's just do Great Ball and Super Potion, right? So you just click away. They're now stocked in the store. You can see the price that we set earlier. They're unlimited quantities, right? So as many players as you want can go in and buy as many as you want. Recently, you have added the ability to have just ignore that. I'll fix that later. But to set specific quantities. So let's say that this sell on only got 6 Great Balls, right? 6 submit. Boom. So you can see, and every time a player comes in and they spend their $50, they will deplete that by 1. And again, this is probably the most basic way of doing it in CastBot. If you just want to practice, not practice, you just want to run a basic idle hunt thing. We want to open the store. I'll show you how to do more fancy ways of doing it later. And all this does is it just like chooses the channel to post a button which the players will click. You can do this as many times as you want. But yeah, we're already in the Sell It on Superstore channel, so just gonna do that. All these dialogues here only I can see, right? So what you'd do is you'd put a nice little message up here. You'd use like Sell It on Superstore, blah 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 blah. Type, you do like a write up, and then you would post the button. If you don't like this, you can just delete it. That's fine. It's not gonna cause any problems. But yeah, so I click that, and then you see the store. So any player that came in here, they would be able to go in and be like, cool, got nice little icons there and stuff like that. I've got $0, so I won't be able to buy anything. I'll get a red error, hopefully. Yeah. And then this inventory here, so you can customize that. I need to pick a better default icon. If you got any suggestions, hit me up. But to customize, just go into Safari settings, and it's Pokemon, right? So the player is wandering around, currency and inventory. This is like a toolbox. So backpack, backpack. Yeah, there we go. That's like spot on. And change the name from inventory to backpack. And then let's call them, Poke Dollars. They actually are called Poke Dollars. And then change the currency emoji to like cash yen to be very Pokemon on themed. Cool. This default starting currency is just for Safari, so ignore that for now. It's all just been updated. So, and then I'll give myself some money. So there's two ways of managing currency. This one here is kind of like a menu that is like sort of tailored towards giving people money, but I would encourage everyone, unless you're doing it in bulk, to just use this player admin. And then we'll go Reese, and this gives you access to all of the things that I want to do, but looks like I need to initialize myself on Safari, so let's not. Normally I'd better edit my currency there, but anyway, let's go here. And then how many Poké Dollars do I want? I'll give myself 999. Boom. Okay. Yep. So normally I'm wanting to retire this managed currency, so I'll have to tweak the player admin thing a little bit. So I've got money now. I've got money. And what do I want to do next? I want to probably buy some stuff, right? So this button up here, again, you just players would click it. Let's see this. You can see the new. I just changed the dollars to like Poké Dollars. You can see my backpack. I've got nothing in it at the moment, but let's buy a Great Ball. So if you ever see that, you probably click things too quick. Just wait a couple seconds. So just bought a Great Ball, and then let's buy a Super Potion. Alright, let's look at my backpack. So yeah, pretty basic. If you set more advanced item configurations, like if you get an attack value, you'll be able to see a little button to attack other players. Cool. So I'm still at the most boring part. I've given myself money. I've deployed a shop. I've demonstrated. Now let's do the fun part. So, so all of that is like the basics, right? You could, if you wanted to, you could have that as your idle hunt, or you could have a single challenge that you run for 24 hours, and players buy stuff, and then they do something with the items that they buy, right? So there's all these things around like attacking and players earning income and stuff like that, which I won't get into now. I am trying to, in general, just make CastBot good enough that you can just go in and just design your own challenges and like interactive with the bot. But yeah, that's all unexciting, unsexy stuff. So the real killer feature for CastBot is, as Reese closes all these 100 menus, is this map. So if you've used Kadabra, you'll know that you can kind of, there's a bit of a way that you can go and create your own sort of like I forgot what they call them, like pathways, right? But they're a bit they take a lot of time to set up. They're a bit clunky. They're not very exciting looking. And then you have to like go in and link all the channels. So what I've done in CastBot is I've made this ability to basically upload a picture that you can make yourself or you can download from somewhere of a map. So this is, I just randomly googled this before jumping on or starting this recording, this is like a map of Pallet Town. Pallet Town's where you start out in Pokemon if you're playing the game. That's where you get your first Pokemon. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go into the general channel where I'm kind of doing stuff. So what CastBot will do, hopefully this map, I haven't really tested it, so hopefully the map works okay, is it will chop the map up into channels, basically. And players will only see one channel at a time. So they're only in one, I call them grid coordinates or locations, you can call them whatever you want. But it'll actually like draw like a grid over the image that you get. So just to show you, before I actually I'll start the process because it does take a little while. It's like 3 minutes, which isn't hard if you're going to run a 30-day season. But basically, just pick a channel to upload your picture where you, like this, right click the picture, you go copy link, and then from the CastBot menu, I'll just do it from the start, you go /menu, and then you go into Safari, boom, and then you go into map admin, and then you go create update map. So the reason why it's update map is if you are like me and you obsess over what the map looks like. So I've made a few of my own maps. I was going to show one here, but I couldn't find it. But yeah, there's some good websites, like I think it's pixelart.com, where you can just like, even if you're not that good at drawing, I'm not that creative, like you can make pretty good looking stuff. Anyway, so I copied that map link, which is, I just randomly googled Pallet Town map. I think it's a fan made thing. It's already hosted on Discord, which is what we want. And then we got to choose how many rows, how many columns are in our map, right? So 7 times 7 is 49, so there'd be 49 squares for the players to move around. Now 49 is probably the maximum I would recommend. You can go higher, but it's a bit clunky for multiple reasons. Firstly, Discord's category limit is 50 channels, so your players will have to flick between categories, which is kind of annoying. And yeah, with CastBot, you don't have to make another server like a lot of orgs do with other bots, but it's nice to just have them all in one category. So we'll do 7 times 7. You can make it as, if you want to, you could run a challenge with these maps, right? Where you can control a player's stamina, or you can have like a race. I haven't even thought about how these could be used, but like, it's very easy to create them, and if you're a smart enough host, you think of ways to leverage it. So go submit 7 times 7. CastBot's thinking, and what you'll see is this map storage channel gets created. Do not delete this channel, as it will kill everything. Oh, I think I uploaded the wrong map. Okay, I had another map planned, but anyway, so you'll see that CastBot has carved this up into a 7 times 7 quadrant. It's drawn it over, right? So that's nice. It just sits in this map storage channel. You don't need to make your own image channel. It's just there. And then you'll see it's going and creating all the grid channels under this map explorer category. So because I'm in production, I can see everything. As a player, no one will see anything until they've been initialized on the Safari, which is like a very quick activity, which I'll show you in a sec. But yeah, you can see bang, 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 bang. So first of all, it just creates blank channels. And I'll create as many as are required for your grid size. Pause for drink break. But then what it will start to do, it will start to go through and create these fog maps, fog of war. Like if you ever played like Age of Empires or whatever, like a real-time strategy game. Civilization, you'll know that you've got like this fog concept, which is like where are you now, but where are other things that you can't see. Um, so again, it just CastBot just kind of dumps these in the map storage channel. Do not delete these because they'll break things. But what it then does is it goes to every grid and then it creates this little location. I call it the anchor, location anchor. This just sits there at the top of the channel, and you can update this. So, um, so we've gone through, and it's going quite fast. But like you'll see, like it takes like 2-3 minutes. This channel's empty, but the CastBot's about to create the Fog of War, the map, right? So, cool. There you go. You can just delete these and recreate them if you need to play around with it. And, it's not quite in the spot you wanted it. If you keep the map dimensions the same as your original upload, you can just go to that, like this button here, upload, and then just repaste in your new image. Just don't change the dimensions. So yeah, my last org I drew half a map, and I drew like another third of it, and then didn't really finish it properly. Sorry. Yeah, so it's all getting created. La la la. Yeah, and then what do we want to do next? So while that's creating, I'll just show you some other maps that I have done. So this is a better looking one. I just stole. If everyone's I'm a retro video game collector, so I'm a sucker for video game maps. So this is Super Mario World. It's one of the most iconic games out there. So I just googled this and just dumped it as a test map. Took me 5 seconds, and I've been using this for CastBot as like my little fake org. And then again, this is a Zelda map. This is not Zelda Viver. If anyone's across my future plans for that, I will run it eventually. Um, in fact, this whole Safari feature is basically me being annoyed at having to hand code things in CastBot for Zelda Viver. So I went, fuck it, I'm going to do my own thing. And now you can do it too. But you can see this is quite nice and easy. It just looks good. And players can go in, they can see it on their phone, they can tap things, blah blah blah. So cool. So it's gone through and it's created all the channels. That's what we want. So what should we do next? So now let's. So because it's Pokemon, let's go. This is meant to be Professor Oak's lab in the middle. So let's go to grid cell E4, right? As production, right? So as production, I'm going. I want to like pimp this out a bit. This is Professor Oak's fucking lab. Why does it say E4? That's boring. So you can just go in and change channel names. It's fine. I do like to keep the coordinate there, just because it makes it easier for players. But the actual channel, CastBot knows the channels by their secret IDs that you can't actually change. So so go through there. We've just named it Prof Oaks Lab, so I can find it easy. We still got to sell it on Superstore, but I can just delete that channel. Like if you're running a Safari, you wouldn't have this standalone kind of orphan channel. And so this is, you can put pictures in. Save image, copy link. So just like we did for the map upload, let's. Oh, okay. Alright, let's do this in 2 stages. So let's go media. So you can just paste in, you can upload a picture in your server image channel, and then you can just go boom, and then every player that comes along, they'll get this nice little like, just gives it a bit of character, and then we go back to what's my plan? Okay, and then I just had AI do some AI slop for his lab. So go back here, edit location info. I like to just keep the grid coordinate there and just do this like Professor Oak's lab, right? And then description like that. This supports Discord Markdown formatting, so you can make it look all fancy. Like if you, ooh, okay, AI made me too much. Yeah, that's probably too long anyway. Yeah, but you can do like bold and all the normal Discord formatting like that. So I updated that. You see that immediately just updated, right? So this looks quite nice, but there's a lot of text there. So let's just like let's put a little enter space or something. And I know a lot of org hosts just are used to just planning out your idle hunts or safaris or whatever in spreadsheets, right? My goal is to kill spreadsheets. You shouldn't need to go into a spreadsheet. Just go in and just do what I just did then, right? You just have to play around with it, see what it looks like. If you don't like it, you just change it. You don't need to like just go in and just copy into a spreadsheet, paste in here, go back to the spreadsheet. Just go in. Players won't see this channel until you've opened it to them, until you've added them to Safari. Cool. So we've got Professor Oak's lab, right? So this is what a player would see if they navigated to this channel, which I'll show you shortly. But this is kind of like boring. It's boring. Can't really do much. It's just a bunch of text. So let's add some actions. So in the games and in the TV show, what does the main character do? He wakes up late, he runs in. Sorry, in the games, if you're playing Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue or Pokemon Green if you're Japanese, you are punctual, you wake up on time, you got your alarm, right? You pick Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle. So let's do that, right? So in CastBot, so there's a few features here. This manage drops is just kind of like a generic, like you get an item, you get an item, you get some money. So that's kind of like your easy, like you can't be fucked, like making your Safari to like creating like elaborate content for every single grid square. And this is why I say don't. Probably 49 is the max you'd want to do. You'd probably want more like a 6x6 Safari. So managed drops is like that sort of stuff. But just for this example, I'm going to show you how to use custom actions. So custom actions are like the heart of CastBot Safari, and I've kind of built it to extend beyond Safari, so you can use it outside of it. But we want to create an action for this particular location, right? So when a player gets here, we want to give them some options. So an action basically has what triggers the action, which is either player clicking a button or they enter a secret command like you would with CastBot. So they don't actually know that there's something they need to do. What conditions they need to meet for the action to proceed. So it might be like, I don't know, there's a grumpy old man there, and he's like, "What do you want? Go away!" And it's like you have to have some, I don't know, a fish or something you caught somewhere else. This is what we use in Emerald Org. And you can be like, if I have this fish in inventory and I click the button to talk to the old man, then he's like, "Oh my god, you're awesome! Here, have $1 million." Else, he tells you to fuck off. But for this one, we're going to go pick Bulbasaur. I forgot to. Actually, no, we'll go get Bulbasaur's emoji just to make it look all nice. Bulba. Let's just go back to location actions. custom actions. So yeah, again, production. Anytime you just go up here, you click that button, and then we're gonna go. Actually, now I'm being really fucking pedantic. If anyone knows me well, they'll know what I'm like. So I was gonna do a Bulbasaur icon, but technically in the game they're all Pokeballs. So let's just give them all Pokeball icons. So what we're doing here basically is we're going to the player or to the user. There's only 3 Pokemon available. Let's just make sure he's still recording. Yes, he is. So we're just going to be like, you've arrived in the morning. There's all the 3 Pokemon are left. Cool. Pick the leafy looking one. Hoping this emoji works. Had some issues with it recently, but let's do that. So all that's done is it's created. You'll see here. There you go. Pick Bulbasaur. It's created a button, but if I click the button, nothing will happen because I haven't configured any actions. So I get pick Bulbasaur, and I just kind of get a soz type message. So yeah, so I was going to do a simple example, but maybe I'll try and make this a bit more complicated. What would be an example in the game? So, like, let's say, like, I don't know, say for whatever reason, Professor Oak wants you to have a super potion before you can take care of the Pokemon, because he doesn't want you to just go out into the wild and get a kill. So you can go to Condition Manager, and you can be like, when the user has a super potion, cool. Back. So when I click this button, if I have a super potion, then I will get an item. The item being a Bulbasaur. And you can add little text things in here, be like, Professor Oak's like, you can give actual dialogue, right? So go Bulbasaur, it's a cute grass thing. And then this is the important thing. So the usage limit. So unlimited is like the same player can just sit there and click it day in day out. You can get millions of them. Or if you could kind of set up your own sort of like shady side store that's not really a CastBot store. It'd be like, if the player's got $80, then take $80 from them and give them an item. You can do whatever you want. But yeah, this unlimited it's more for testing, so probably don't use that. Once per player, if you're designing an idle hunt, you probably want to use that quite a bit. And once globally is kind of like you for your advantages. So it's like the first player to get there gets the idol or gets the steal a vote or whatever you want to call it. And there's ways you can use CastBot to cleverly divide. If you want to have like an idol per tribe or whatever, there's ways you can do it with conditions. Which talk to me about that if you're curious. But let's go once globally. And then you can have negative actions. So you can be like, if the player doesn't have the sort of 1,000 truths, then like take all their money if you want to be mean. But yeah, for now we'll just go. There's one Bulbasaur. There's only one available. It's like first in, best dress. First player to click that button gets it. Right? So you save. So we go to Bulbasaur, but I don't have a super potion. I don't think. Or did I buy one from a seller? I think I might have actually. Let me look at my inventory. This is where I'm starting to get like, a little tipsy. I need to refill my red wine. Okay. have a super potion. Alright, well, I'll show you how to delete an item. So if I go, I just went edit items, super potion. I'm already on me. I'm gonna make that 0. So now I have 0 super potions. And then if I just view my backpack, cool, no super potions. That's what we want. So we go back to Professor Oak's lab. He's kind of going, Reese, you can't take Bulbasaur unless you get a super potion. So I'm like, sure, Professor Oak, whatever you say. So again, this is kind of like, this is not super difficult if you've done like, I don't know, a bit of math, bit of program for, but like this is basically saying the trigger is the player clicks this button, right? They won't see this thing. They'll just come into the channel and be like, pick Bulbasaur. This says, when the player clicks the button, if they have a super potion, give them a Bulbasaur. Now what we can do is if they don't have a Bulbasaur, we can be like, we can like pretend we're Professor Oak. Images, so I have a picture of him. Professor Oak angry. Oh, why is there 2 Professor Oaks? Yeah, okay. There we go. That looks good. Images. And this is what's great about these little like CastBot like gallery things. You can make this like quite dynamic very easily. So sorry, I put a picture of Professor Oak in my images channel. I right click it, I copy the link to the image, and if you've done much CastBot stuff, you'll know this is how you kind of do it. Okay, edit, right, and be like, Professor Oak ain't happy. Hey son, you really think you're gonna take a Bulbasaur out into the world? You really think you... Alright, so that image I just saved. Hopefully this works. And the accent color is a little strip on the side. Because this is Bulbasaur. Because I'm a nerd, I remember how to do... This is RGBs, like red, red, green, green, blue, blue. 0, 0, red, red, green, green, blue, blue. So that should make it green. Boom. There you go. That's cute, isn't it? So that's what it looked like. But I fucked it up because I made it a positive action. So if I have a super potion, that would display. But what I want is that if I don't have a super potion, I want Professor to be like, bro, you need a super potion. So do that. So this says if I've got a super potion, give me Bulbasaur. If I don't have super potion, be like, hey, what are you crazy? But I probably want to put a nice kind of positive message in there if I get Ash Bulbasaur. So, like someone's going to make a Pokevivor after this. There you go. It's an iconic. That's like his first time he meets him. So again, I've just pulled an image. Ash and Bulbasaur. Just paste it in my little image channel, and then I'm going to copy the link. I won't do this for Charmander and Squirtle. Just because take forever. But copy link. Go back to Oak's lab. And this is a display text. So this is if you know Discord, this is kind of like what do they call them? In CastBot they call them embeds. But this is like a fancier version of an embed. This is like Discord's newer version of embeds. So you proudly choose Bulbasaur. He's so cool. And Bulbasaur was the first Pokemon I chose when I was like 10. And if I can just slate all the gym leaders. Red, red, green, green, blue, blue. Bulbasaur. So this is the image that I just got. That I just saved. There you go. Boom. And I want this to show if I've got the super potion. Right? So I go back. And I want this to appear above that. You get Bulbasaur. This is the last feature I implemented before I started recording this video, which is like ability to reorder these things. So if this breaks, don't hold against me. I'll fix it straight away. Let's go up. Yeah. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, okay, it did work. Alright, cool. Alright, we're good. We're cooking the gas. Alright, so we got Professor Oak's lab. Oh, we got Charmander, we got Squirtle. I'll just set one up. Let's go Charmander. Second Charmander. If anyone's heard of the second Charmander meme, if you haven't heard of it, Google it. It's hilarious. It's like Bulbasaur's kind of like, even though he's like the best starter in Pokemon Red and Blue, he's kind of like got this reputation of being lame. So there was a Reddit post once that was like, because you have the Game Boys, you can only have one save game. It was like, I wish Pokemon Red and Blue would allow me to have 3 save games, so I could have one for my Charmander, one for my Squirtle, and one for my second Charmander. Because Bulbasaur is lame, but he's not lame. He's awesome. I disagree with that. So I go in Charmander, put in my little emoji. He's got fire. I'm just gonna like YOLO this. You don't need to know all the fancy custom actions. Just give item. Alright, the item is Charmander. We added him earlier. There's only one of them. And 1 save. Boom. So we got the oh, okay. I was meant to put the Pokeball icon there, but you know what? So that's done. Ranted for long enough on that. Now, because let's just close. I'll leave that open. Okay, so this is my little test account. Radical Dinosaur, which if you know me, you'll know that I use Radical Dinosaur a lot. It's not not alting. It's just I need an account to test that's not my own. That's not admin all the time. So now let's say like I'm starting my season. This fucking cool ass map thing. This crazy CastBot made by this crazy Reese guy, and I want to like. I've done marooning, I've done like, I don't know, the first challenge, first player's been eliminated or whatever, and now I want to start Safari. So what we're going to do is go to player admin, find our players. So we've got Radical Dinosaur, that's the one we're just looking at. I'm going to initialize Radical Dinosaur. And that just means, from CastBot's perspective, he's a player. He's a player in the game. He's on a spec. He can go on the map. It does put them in A1. So I'll show you what that looks like. So you just get access to this. You get access to the channel. There's not much going on in A1. It's boring. I'm in the forest. I'm just waking up naked in the forest. Why? Why is that? So CastBot has a concept of stamina. You can configure how much stamina a player starts with and regenerates. I've just got 3 at the moment. I'll show you how to make this unlimited, put it in like a test mode. But yeah, like I'm in the bush, I'm in the forest. I want to get out of here, right? So you'll see that these buttons are like grayed out, right? Because I'm in A1. There's no like A0. So CastBot automatically linked up all the coordinates, so I don't have to sit there for hours doing it. And I know I can go south, southeast, or east. Um, if anyone wants me to kill diagonal coordinates as a feature, let me know. Like, make it configurable, but for now, I ain't touching that. So I want to get to, like, let's say I'm Reese's rival, Radical Dinosaur. I want to get to the Oaks Lab, try and get a good Pokemon. So I'm going to go southeast. So what will then happen is you'll see I lose access to the channel. I do get this nice little message in the channel that I was in that tells me where I am now. I can just click on that. And then I see, oh, cool, I'm in some boring grass. So this navigate pane, as a host, there's a few things you need to know about this. So first of all, it's there due to Discord limitations, but it's also there because it's a fun gameplay element, right? So basically I can't make players silently move between coordinates without having a public message like this. But my point of view on this as a all-host game designer person is that, like, these coordinates are like small areas, right? So if you think about real life, if you were here, you would see someone, right? You would see someone in your coordinate. So this message represents the fact that I've just walked into this area. Now I can get rid of it. I'm Radical Dinosaur at the moment. I can get rid of it. I can hide, right? This is a metaphor for hiding. I just click this button. I'm hiding in, I don't know, I'm hiding in that tree there, whatever, right? So as soon as I click that, I can still be seen by other players, because I'm in the channel, which I think is good. That's what kind of we want from a game design perspective. But it's not so obvious. So now, what does Reese need? Reese needs, what does Professor Oak want? He wants a super potion. We didn't end up buying a Bulbasaur, so I'll just show you that. Sorry, not buying. We didn't buy Pokemon. We're not monsters, but we do have high expectations. So hopefully, unless I fucked it up in my last programming spiel, if you recall, for Bulbasaur, Professor Oak wanted us to have a super potion, and I made sure that I didn't have a super potion, so I deleted my super potion. So hopefully I click this and it says, Reese, you don't have a super potion. Yeah, so he's mad at me. You don't have a super potion. So I'm like, okay, I need to get one. Where do I get a super potion from? So I will now show you how to stock, to create, like, I showed you how to create just a general, like an orphan store that's just sitting out there, just it's in a random channel, right? I'll show you how to attach a store to a Safari coordinate. So let's say, for fun, let's just say this green one here is our Pokemart, right? So we want to C3. Let's go to C3. Let's make C3 Pokemart. And Radical Dinosaur is going to stop past, and he's going to buy Super Potion because he's a kind Pokemon trainer. And I'm going to give him some money because I'm a nice Orc host. So we've got Pokemart there, and Professor Oak's Lab. There you go. Okay, that's a terrible image. I probably should have better one, but yeah, let's get that. Pokemart, media, blah. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. Copy link. Oops. Open link. Copy link. There we go. Media. Ugly looking Pokemon. And then we'll just call this. You can delete this pin as well, but I kind of like it. Pokemats. Who runs the Pokemon? It's a metaphor for a Quickie-Mart. Alright, so I've made a location called Pokemart, but we wouldn't an actual store there, right? So, um, so we'll go stores. Sounds obvious. Oh, okay, I forgot to, I haven't created Pokemon yet. Let's just go do that. So we made the sell it on Superstore earlier, but let's just quickly create Pokemart and we'll just whack our Super Potion in there. So store, new store, Pokemarts. This is going to be a very long video. The best goods in Pallet Town. If anyone follows Pokemon closely enough, they'll know that there's never a Pokemon store in Pallet Town. Kudos if you knew that. Shame on you if you didn't. Super Potion, bang. And let's say like Pallet Town's cashed up because Professor Oak's rich. So they got unlimited Super Potions. So now a Super Potion there. And so what that has done, hopefully. No, it hasn't done that. So I've made a store, put a Pokemart, and I put a Super Potion in there. Now I want to assign that Pokemart store to the area that I happen to be in. So I just go into the forgetting my own. Oh wait, location actions. It's this one up here. Yeah. So what are the actions I can do at this area? Stores. Pokemart. Alright. So Pokemart. Boom. So there's added a button and it's a store. And only players in this coordinate can access that store, right? So you can create like hidden coordinates. You can actually blacklist coordinates if you want. I'll show you later, but there's a little menu where you can be like, players can't go here, 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 here. So yeah, anyway, Pokemart exists, and I will just make sure that my mate Radical Dinosaur's got some money. Play admin. Did I give him any? Yes, he's got 100 Pokedollars. Yeah, there is default money in the Safari settings, so he's gotten that default $100. You can change that. So what do? We just add a Pokemon to C3, right? So yeah, all I need to do is just navigate southeast. Cool. Boom. C3. Pokemon. That looks good. What you got for me? 6 Pokedollars. Extra tasty. Bang. Cool. Alright, so we'll just go navigate again. This is where I remember that I have not given Radical Dinosaur unlimited stamina. So stamina by default resets every 24 hours. I'd recommend you just have one stamina. Actually, no, it's every 12 hours, I think. Yeah, I'd recommend you just have one stamina every 12 hours. Need to fine tune that a bit. So, just because I don't want y'all to have to wait 12 hours, I'm going to give Radical Dinosaur some more stamina. Let's give him 99. So 1 stamina lets you move 1 grid coordinate. That's all it's used for at this point. So click refresh. Boom. Unlimited. And then we wanted to get to Professor Oak's lab, which I think is E3. We'll find out. I'll use the opportunity to drink more red wine. No, it's not E3, it must have been E4. So again, let's click navigate. E4. There you go. Ooh, nice. So I've got. Well, let's have a look. Right. So this is what the player inventory looks like. Um, all right. I need to. I did find an actual bug. Or did I? Anyway, like pretend that I had an inventory button there. I'll look into that after. But I've got my super potion. So hopefully Presso will let me pick Bulbasaur. And hopefully recent stuff up his programming. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's the best. Cool. So I have Bulbasaur. Now if I go back to my other account, which is this green looking one, and then I go to Professor Oak's lab. I'll try to pick Bulbasaur. He's all gone. I found bug number 2. There should be a message being like he's all gone. I just got the ordering wrong. I've just fixed that as well. But I get it. I want Charmander. Boom, Charmander. Very cool. Charmander, second Charmander. So, what am I doing? Safari. Player admin. Reese. Few items. It's Charmander. Yeah, so I got my Charmander. So that's kind of like the basics. But obviously you can be like, I guess with these custom actions, you can kind of just combine them as you want, right? So you can just, I'll show you some of the other ones. I'll just talk through them. I won't actually configure them because it'll take a while. Actually, there was one I was going to show you. So the main thing I've showed y'all to date is like these buttons, right? So you click a button, it goes, when Reese clicks this button, if these conditions are met, then do this. And the Bulbasaur example is when Reese clicks this button, if he has a super potion, give him a Bulbasaur, else tell him to go away. Now for a lot of org idle hunts, a lot of hosts will use they'll use like CastBot, and they'll use this like enter command, like slash command feature, right? So you have things hidden around the org, where the player's got to kind of like go find it. Like a hidden command in the server name or something like that, right? So I guess with CastBot I wanted to also have something like that, but to hook into CastBot I didn't want to have to rely on like annoying CastBot commands or whatever, right? So custom actions can be triggered by a button. Or they can be triggered by a command that a player enters. As of the update that's about to go live, you will see this enter command button in your player menu. So you just type /menu, and that's basically it's clues in an idle hunt, right? So let's say I'm walking in Professor Oak's lab. I'm late, and there's nothing left. There's no Pokemon. It's gone. Your dreams are ruined, just like in the show. So we go like, sorry, I'm late. isn't actually what you like. So basically, this whole feature is like that I'm about to show you is you can set a trigger word or phrase or words. So for today I've been showing button clicks. This is like a text command. This is like you typing your exclamation mark or your question mark in CastBot and then command. And you can set command phrases. You can set multiple phrases for the same action. So I think there's 5. So overslept. Sorry, I overslept. Missing number. Pikachu. Let's just change this to sleepy. Alright, so bang. So you go back. So this will be like if I go in here and I go to enter command and I type in sleepy. So I haven't set a condition yet, but this would be like me in CastBot being like sleepy. Right. So you can. This is another tool in your host toolkit. And in this example, the host toolkit to create idle hunts or pimp your safaris a bit. In this example, we're going to give the player a Pikachu because we nice. So just one Pikachu. Save. So if I just read this out into plain language, if the player types any of those words that I just read out, one of them being sleepy, and any of these conditions met, which are none, which is just like if the player types sleepy, give them a Pikachu. That's what this says. Alright, so there's no button. I hope. Yep, I probably should add a Squirtle. Yeah, there's no. This is hidden. So what you would do is you'd put some text in here, being like, oh, there's this. You see a Pokeball off to the corner, and it's like sparking with electricity. I don't know, like you'd put something like that, or you'd have it in the channel, you know. So basically, I'm a smart org player. I've come in, I've gone, oh, I've read this thing. I've learned. Someone has explained to me how this CastBot enter command things work. Type in sleepy. You go Pikachu. Cool. So that is that. It's 3 a.m. I should probably stop this. Is it still recording? I hope it is. Yep, cool. Cool. I'll just try and just quickly go over a few more things. So, Professor Oak's lab. So, I'm just going to teleport myself to Professor Oak's lab because I ain't there. So you can go place on a map. Oh wait. E4. So it's teleported me to E4. Alright, so this next feature is an interesting one. It's called Whisper. So, oh, okay. Alright, so by the way, players will see this all the time. It's just how it works. So they have to click their own navigate panel. They can't click. This just tells them that Reese is in the house. So this whisper thing, this is meant to. Basically, what this is meant for is like cross-tribal communication. If you think about players might start on opposite sides of the map, right? You can put them wherever you want, and they might run into each other. And if there is 49 grid squares, that's quite a lot to cover, right? So you have players spread all out. So in Emerald Org, we introduce this whisper feature, and it's like basically it says if a player is in the same grid coordinate as another player, they can walk up to them and they can whisper to them, um, and it won't the record of their discussion won't stay in the channel like some other org bots. Um, but what it will do is if anyone happens to be in if there's three players in a coordinate, right? So three players in, let's say there's me, someone from the other tribe who I want to bond with, and then someone in my own tribe. If someone in my own tribe is, they'll first of all they'll know that all three of us are there. Second of all, if they are watching the channel while I whisper, and just keep in mind this is my fake radical dinosaur persona. Um, so you'd be like, "Hey, bro, we never met, but like, let's. I'm taking to the end." Right, like that. Um, so what this deliberately does, um, so no one can see that except me, but like this message here appears, right? So it's like if I'm here, there's someone in the other tribe, I want to like bond with them, but I'm not allowed to DM, right? You're not allowed to DM in most orgs with the other opposition tribe unless you're playing one world. So this is like a metaphor for that. And production teams, you can set up like there's a Safari log, and you can see all the whispers going in through the log. They're quite juicy, so you can monitor for like kind of your standard one-on-one type abuse. But like this is basically being like, I'm whispering to this person in the other tribe, or even I could do my own tribe, but I'll, just DM them. Someone on my own tribe might see this message. So as soon as I send the whisper, it's like I'm going like, "Hey, la la la," la, right? They could see that, but if the person like clicks the message in time, then it like disappears from the chat, right? So it's kind of like if someone's in the channel, you don't know if you're safe. You don't know. It's a risk. You're rolling the dice, and I've only used this in one org, but it did create a lot of interesting game dynamics in a good way for like specs and hosts and stuff. So then I can just be like, yeah, F2 deal, bruv. Right, done. And again, like someone else could see us having this conversation, and they'd be like, "What are they talking about? That's juicy. They ain't even on the same tribe." So that's whispering. Um, Again, 3 a.m. I'll try and blitz through this. So rounds is probably a whole. It's all rounds is a whole own video. I won't go into it now, but if you've ever played my famous challenge, Tycoons of the Nile or Tycoons of what X, rounds is basically a way to just run in cycles the challenge. So this player attacked this player harvested this. This is what the yield was. So I'm starting to like break this out a bit more and make it a bit more like general purpose. But this in the future I think would evolve into like a CastBot challenge hub. Um, yep, stores, play admin. So the map admin is pretty useful. It's got a few things like player locations. So both me and Radical Dinosaur are in this E4. So you can see it's both there. You can see our stamina. I hope this button works. It does. You can pause players. So if you've got like a a mental health day or something, you can just be like boom boom, pause, stop. Just just chill out for a while, guys. Or if you want to just pause people on the swap. What else we got? Blacklisted coordinates. So this is a good way to like close some of the map. It's a very rudimentary feature, but you just kind of like do it like this. And so we got like A1, A2, A3. So any players who were in like, let's say if it was in B1, A1 would appear like grayed out on my little compass. So it's kind of a good way to like, you could close off starting tribes. You could even put them in the other side, opposite sides of the map. Have them, I don't know, a water islands dividing them, or a forest or something like that, and then swap, you open it up, and then merge, you open the whole map up, and then you just can like design your idle hunts around like that. Safari progress is like a little, can't really show you now because I haven't got much set up, but it sort of lets you show what, basically who's got what advantage. So yeah, that Bulbasaur and Charmander were the kind of big ones, and you can see that I got the Bulbasaur, and oh sorry, Radical Dinosaur got the Bulbasaur, and I got the Charmander, and they're taken. Um, yeah, so there's Safari logs. I mean, that's basically it. There's a lot to it. I think I've been fucking recording for like 2 hours, so I don't think anyone's gonna watch this. So send me a DM with a tomato emoji if you watch all of this. But yeah, you can customize things. You can do things. Just just install it on your like little private server and have a little play around with it. See what you can do. If you got any like feature requests, let me know. I'm very happy if someone is starting a season and they want something that is just, I think, a tiny bit of work for me. I'm happy to prioritize that. So yeah. So I guess in summary, yeah, um, this is for cute little robot. This is for idle hunts, challenges, and like full blown safaris. I've tried to make it easy for people to use. I want creators, creative people to not have to worry about the technology, not have to have your token IT geek like me in your prod team. You should just be able to come in and just use this yourself, and it should be easy enough to. So yeah, just have a go with, play around with it. If you want to start simple, just try like stores, items, and currency. Just give people money. People love money, and then just go from there. And then join the CastBot channel if you haven't already. But I'll probably post this mainly in the CastBot channel, CastBot server. So. Peace out. Got my actual Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle behind me. Um, they they bless all of us. Yeah. Thank you for listening. If you actually listen this far.